Today we're reloading for the 30-06. We're going to be using the Hornady 30 cal 110 grain VMAX. We use these for the gophers and everything, woodchucks, but not. So right now we're just going through the initial setup, balancing out the scale, getting the flow going, getting the dies all set, get the cases lubed. But we're going to be loading 10 rounds today. We're going to be doing, what is it, 59 grains of Varget. It's a compressed load, traveling 3,452 feet per second. It's a decent round. Again, we don't, with this information, if you use it and something happens, we're not accountable for it. So don't come knocking on my door. But so yeah, we're just gonna get set up now. That might help, huh? I was gonna say, Jesus, I haven't done an outrageously heavy round lately.
So you got that all set, now you're just dialing in your powder measure, huh?
Yep. Basically, this powder measure.
If I'm doing match grade ammo, I will weigh out each component individually in each charge. We're at 59 grains. It's actually right on the money. So do one more test load.
I took apart some federal loads, and I've had awesome luck with those, but
They were ranging anywhere from, I believe it was 52 to 55 grains, and that's quite a bit for something that you should be trusting.
Yeah, and that's an RCBS rock checker.
Yes, it is. It's a
Single stage press, so
it's a lot more time consuming, but to me that's just fine. I like it, especially for rifles. If I was reloading for handguns, I'd look into a progressive stage like yours. Right now, as far as setting up the first die, this is the depriming and resizing and everything. So what you do is you put your case holder on, you put in one of your cases, you send it up, and you tighten this down until you can feel it bottom out onto the actual case. Tighten it down. And these cases I've already measured, they're within spec. As far as the length, I always go to the minimum because they will stretch. Now we're going to lube up the cases, send them through the resizer, just to make sure that the case necks haven't gone deformed at all. This here is just the RCBS pad, and I use the case lube number 2. The only problem with that stuff is it is extremely thick, and I've actually had the cap inside come off on me, and so a big glob came out, so just be careful of that. The one thing with reloading, you always want to take your time, don't rush anything. These ones that we're doing with the 59 grains is going to be a compressed load, so it's going to be really obvious if you double charge because the powder will be overflowing at that point. But I've heard of many cases where people are reloading and they shouldn't be, and they do a double load and it just destroys a gun. So take your time, do one step at a time.
And wouldn't you say if people were starting off with these, would they want to start at a reduced load?
Oh yeah, absolutely. You always want to start at the reduced load. Like what I do when I start with new bullets is I start at the reduce, which in this case was 54 grains. You start at that, and I do 5 rounds of each. I do 5 rounds of 54 grains, 5 rounds at 55, and so on and so forth. And I do my 5-shot groups at 100 yards to find out which one's the most accurate. You never want to exceed the maximum unless you can actually check all your data as far as case pressures and everything, but I highly recommend that you don't do any of that stuff. This one here, I've shot many rounds with the compressed load. I'm very happy with the accuracy out to 100 yards. 350 yards, you're looking at about a 2.5-inch grouping, so it's really not bad, especially with a flat base 110 grain bullet. I mean, you really can't ask for much more. Not anything all that special, but